Today I would like to talk about the PlayStation 4 VR headset. I really haven't covered this much at all, and I actually like that they came out with this site with the 3D model of the device so you can actually kind of get a little bit of a hands-on experience with it. And I'll leave the link in the description below to this if anybody wants to check it out, because it actually goes over the technology and the different features of it. So I would like to do a little quick comparative contrast. Number one, after looking at a lot of different things and doing a lot of my own research, the PlayStation 4 VR headset may be actually the best buy for pretty much anyone. The only downside is it's only for the PlayStation 4, at least that I can see. I'm uncertain if they're going to allow the connection of the headset to a computer. If it would crush everybody else hands down, because you'd not only be able to use it on the PlayStation 4, but you'd be able to interface it with your computer as well. But let's assume that it's only going to work on the PlayStation 4 for now until they come out with more tech notes on whether or not they're going to add any of that support. Right off the bat, I like the device. I love the simple design. It looks like it's going to be fairly comfortable. I like the fact that you can flip it up and look around instead of having to take the whole headset off like the Vive and the Oculus. I also like the price point. Based on what we've seen, when you convert the euros into USD, it comes out to about $495. So you're looking at a $500 headset versus give me a second here, $600 for the Oculus and $800 for the Vive. So it's $300 less than the Vive, and it's $100. It's about $100 less than the Oculus. Now, the one downside that I am reading about and am seeing is that the resolution is a little lower, which it depends on if your eyes can actually tell the difference, especially in VR, because when those screens are really up close, they can leave the screen door effect. If anybody's ever seen it, it's not pleasant. You don't want a screen door effect. So the biggest thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to run through the numbers. I'll try to leave it in the description below. It may just be too long for me to really put in there. So I'm just going to run through the numbers on each device. So the Vive headset itself cost $800. Now the actual cost, if you were to build a computer to meet the requirements. Now keep in mind, this is near bare minimum requirements. I was just going through and Googling different parts that were compatible with one another just to kind of get a feel. So you have an NVIDIA GeForce 970 or a R9 290 Radeon. You're looking at about $220 right there. It needs an i5 4590. You're looking at about $198 to $200 there. 4 gigs of RAM, not a big deal. $20. Then you need a motherboard. That's about $90 if you're going to the bare minimum just to house the CPU and the RAM. A case, $25 if you get the cheapo cases. About $40 for a power supply to handle that type of video card. And a whopping $139 for a copy of Windows. So between the Vive and if you don't have a computer to handle it, total cost you're looking at about $1,535 to use the Vive, the HTC Vive headset. Now, going down the line, let's talk about the Oculus pricing. Okay, so the headset is $600. The only difference in minimum requirements for the computer is that it actually needs 8 gigs of RAM instead of 4 to run as a minimum. So that tacks on $20. So the headset itself is going to be $600, and the parts I ran through is going to be the same, with the exception of $20 extra for RAM. You're looking at a total of $1,356 for a bare minimum computer to run it and the headset itself. HTC Vive, about $1,500. Oculus Rift, about $1,300. Now you get down to the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 headset. So a used PlayStation 4 you can get on eBay or Amazon if you really look pretty hard. You can get it for around $250. which is not that bad. There's no way you can find a computer for that price point to use the Oculus or the HTC Vive. It's impossible. There's no way that you'll be able to get a Vive or an Oculus and be able to get a computer for $249. $249.99, $250. That's about the price point that I found. Now, the headset itself, around $495. So you're looking around $744. And like I said, I'm going to leave a link in the description below for all the prices, but under $1,000. It's under $1,000 to have next gen or this gen VR. That's freaking amazing. Now, some people will say, well, what about the Samsung Gear VR, the phone VR? It's getting better. It's doing a lot more stuff. As far as games go and entertainment, the PC and the PlayStation 4 really have it down for VR. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Samsung Gear, I love the Google Cardboard and all the things that we're able to do with the Android operating system and all the devices. But let's face it, unless you're on a plan through your cell phone provider, those devices are very expensive on their own. The Galaxy Note 5 refurb is almost $700. Now, I'm sure those prices are going to change with time. And then you got the Gear VR headset. You're talking either $200 or $99, depending on which version you go with. So let's say the Gear VR is $99, and the Galaxy Note 5 is like $695. You're looking at almost $800, $794. $794 for you to use a phone VR, top of the line phone VR, versus the PlayStation 4. So, since we have this wonderful presentation up, let's just kind of go through the technology. Okay, so I'm scrolling over the lenses here. The screen, PlayStation VR screen, runs at 1920 by 1080 resolution with 120 Hz refresh rate. Really, 120, wow. While competitors Oculus Rift and HTC Vive both run a sharper 2160 by 1200 resolution with a lower 90 Hz refresh rate. So it's actually got a higher refresh rate. I don't know how that's going to... I'm kind of curious if that's going to affect motion sickness in any way, if it's going to be better or worse, because depending on how your brain processes things, it may actually be worse for all we know. 2. Simplifying. When Sony first showed the PSVR headset publicly, it included 2 straps, one plastic one outside and the other. Okay, yeah, I actually remember that, where it was full wraparound. So I'm kind of glad they did simplify it, but I'm wondering how tight that has to be with having only one strap. And also, it's plastic. I know elasticity can wear out, but plastic adjust, that better be some strong plastic, or else I'm gonna break it within the first week, because I'm very rough with a lot of my electronics. So I don't know how durable this is. So I really can't wait to get my hands on this, even to try out. Actually, I would love to get a hold of all of them, but it's kind of difficult to find somebody who's already got it willing to let me try it out. I'm going with 4 first because that's closer. Counterbalance. Ooh, according to PlayStation hardware director, Sony added counterweight back of the headset. Okay, so back in the day, first gen VR, you had to have a counterweight. Those headsets were so big and so heavy. If you didn't have a counterweight, the second you put it on, your head would go, buh, or the weight was just so heavy on the face. For instance, I know it really wasn't VR, but the Stuntmaster, the Victor Max Stuntmaster, that thing, all that weight was on the bridge of your nose. It was so heavy in the front. So I'm glad to see that they have a counterweight, but that kind of worries me. How heavy is it up front? So I don't know if it's heavier or lighter than the HTC Vive, but we'll see. Or the Oculus. Number 3. Oh, we got to show the little control thing. A 3-meter cord. Not bad. Okay. That's a good length. That's actually a really good length. Controls and power button. Okay, cool. Power button's on the cable instead of the device itself. Connects to a processing box. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm sure they have It seems like they may have a box with a little coprocessor in it, but like I said, I haven't really looked at all the specs. That's why I kind of wanted to share this with everybody. So, what's great about it? Price point. I think this is going to allow a lot of people to experience great virtual reality, kind of like the Google Cardboard did for the phones. Reason being, there are a ton of people that own PlayStation 4s. So right off the bat, that's potential customers for this. Whereas the Oculus and the Vive, you need a pretty heavy-duty computer, and usually only enthusiasts or hardcore gamers or 3D designers are going to have the systems to handle those headsets. So this is a great way to get into virtual reality and still have a great experience. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation and my opinion on the PlayStation 4 VR headset. I look forward to its release. I'm going to wait for all three to come out and see what best suits me and what price best suits me as well. Because I want high-end VR, but I still may just go with the phone VR depending on the circumstances. This is all a wait-and-see game, just like any new technology. There are going to be people that run out and get all three. There's going to be people that hardcore say, I like this one, I'm a fanboy of this, or I like this because of this. So it's a waiting game. Right now it's a waiting game, and it's going to be interesting. I just hope when the Oculus comes out within the next week and a half to 2 weeks, it helps VR push forward rather than doom it from day one.